two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about debt and a job. I think people are looking at a job in the exact wrong way. And I know people are looking at debt in the wrong way. Most people don't understand money in general and debt a little bit more specifically. There are all these programs talking about get out of debt, get out of debt. All these gurus who say get out of debt, get out of debt. It's funny, Robert Kiyosaki talks about getting out of debt. Make sure that you get out of debt. Make sure you pay off your high interest rate credit cards first. And that's true. And then he says you don't need to be in debt unless it is good debt. It's sort of like fat. People say, oh, fat is bad for you. No, there is good fat and there is bad fat. There is good debt and there is bad debt. Now, what do I mean? If you have, let's say you went to go buy furniture, right? And the furniture place says no payments, 0 interest for 6 months. No payment, 0 interest for a year. That's a debt, right? For all intents and purposes, technically speaking, in everybody's book, that is a debt. You go and spend $5,000, $20,000, buy $5,000 worth of furniture, $20,000 worth of furniture at 0 interest for a year. That is good debt. What does that mean? That means for an entire year, you have $20,000 at your disposal. Now, I only made that as an example. The furniture isn't going to do anything for you unless you are using the furniture as a part of a money-producing, income-generating asset. So if it was furniture that went into your restaurant, furniture that went into your barbershop, furniture that went into your consulting firm, technically speaking, that furniture is generating you money. Why? Because it's producing an environment, an atmosphere that your clients love. Ooh, I love going over there to that barbershop because you can sit in these nice plush chairs while you're waiting. I feel fun. They have magazines out. They have a big screen TV up there. They serve us coffee and tea, hot chocolate, whatever we want. Yeah, that furniture is actually generating you goodwill, what we call goodwill. So in that instance, the furniture is a good thing, right? That debt is a good thing. 0% interest rate is always good, right? Now, is there some way for you to get interest that is close to 0%? Sure, there's all sorts of things. There's all sorts of credit cards that say exactly the same thing. Hey, try this credit card out for 6 months, for a year, and you'll have 0% interest for the entire year. There's credit cards that do that. Now, why am I saying this? I'm trying to make you understand that there is good debt and there is bad debt. Bad debt is any debt with an interest rate that is more than the amount of money you would get by investing the same amount of money into something that would generate an interest rate to you as income to you. So what does that mean? Let's say, and this is just an example, let's say there was a bank somewhere that gave you 7% interest on your money. If you took out a loan somewhere and the loan had an interest rate of 10%, that's bad debt, right? Because you could put the same amount of money into a bank account and get 7% back. Why am I talking about a savings account versus a loan with 10% interest rate? Because we are assuming that you understand that all the money that you use should be used to generate you money. So you're taking out the loan to fund a business. I know that's not what you use money for. You probably use money to buy a car that does absolutely nothing except go from point A to B. Doesn't generate you any money, doesn't do anything for you, nothing for you. Anything that does nothing for you is bad debt. Anytime you use money in that way is bad debt. Your house is bad debt. Does your house generate you money? Now, I know all these people say, "Oh, well, you're accumulating ownership in the house." Who cares? Who the hell cares? Is the amount of money that you are accumulating in the house greater than the inflation rate? No, I'm gonna tell you that right now. No, it's not. Your equity in your house is not worth more than the inflation rate. The only way that you can have equity being built up in a house and it be good is if you are renting that house out and it's generating income for you. And there you go. If you have a big house, you have a big family, you have a big house, and you have multiple rooms, I would even go so far as to say, why don't you rent out one of the rooms, double up some of your children in a room. Children are very, very tough. They can put up with a lot of stuff, and it becomes the norm to them because they don't know any better, right? A child doesn't know that 6 people sleeping in one bed is bad. A child has absolutely no concept of what should be and what shouldn't be, right? Get you 2 bunk beds and have 4 of your children, boys respond to that. I mean, they love that. 4 bunk, oh, that'd be great. And then rent out a room. Always be generating money with your money, right? So there is good debt and there is bad debt. Now let's go into jobs. The intelligent man uses a job to fund something else. So if I were to go to get a job, I'm not against jobs, but if I were to get a job, it would be to fund me getting better equipment, getting me on location equipment, getting me recorder equipment, video equipment, video editing equipment, sound editing equipment. That's what I would use a job for. That's the only thing that I would use. I would not use a job to live my life or to pay my bills. I already pay my bills. So people need to see a job in that way. What can I use this interim money for to fund something that I actually want to do? And that's usually a business. I'm going to say that's usually a business. Now, if you have an advanced degree and you are one of 500,000 people in the world that has that degree, or one of 1 million people in the entire world. Remember, there's 8 billion people on the planet. If you are one of 1 million, one of 500,000, one of 30,000 people with that certification or degree, yes, you might be in demand and you might come out a millionaire. The whole purpose is to come out of it. If you have a job that you can become a millionaire at, like say working for Microsoft, working for Google, what have you, that's fine. You've already accomplished what I'm trying to impart to you. I'm not trying to take away I'm not trying to take that away from you. In fact, I've made videos on if you're going to go to college, these are the degrees that you should get. You will eventually become a millionaire with these degrees. I've already made that video. So obviously I'm not against a job as long as you're using it properly. You don't go for social studies. You don't go for the welfare person or whatever that's called, social worker. You don't go to school for that. You don't go to school for English, art, women's studies, or black studies. They don't offer black studies, but they do offer women's studies. You don't go for that. You don't go for French unless you are going to become the attaché of the ambassador of France. That's the only reason you would do that. And you don't need a degree in English. It does nothing for you. I'm talking about you. Don't take a hobby and try and go and get in debt over it. That's a hobby. You like English? You like reading poems? You like writing poems? You don't need a degree to become a multi-million-dollar bestseller author. You don't need a degree at all. At all. In fact, you don't even have to know how to spell. Because if your ideas are that good, they'll get a ghostwriter for you. Some flunky who did go to college to study English, just to write the book for you. You don't need to go to school for that. Anybody who tells you that is trying to support the college industrial complex. No, you don't need to go to school for that. The only reason you should go to school is for that video that I did, the top 10 majors. You come out making $100 and something thousand a year fresh out of college. Always be thinking, always be thinking. Now, let's go back to the whole debt. Now, I did a video on Ramsey and how he tells people to get out of debt, get out of debt, get out of debt. Well, I'm trying to take this a step further. I'm trying to kick this up a notch. This is more sophisticated thinking. Understand that the dollar is all a fantasy. Did you hear me just say that? The dollar is just a fantasy. It is a piece of paper. It actually does not represent anything. Let me repeat that. The dollar does not represent anything. The only thing it represents is our imagination that it represents something. Literally, the dollar is a fantasy. Money is a fantasy. And until two people come together and say, I will pay you $6 for that chicken, until such time as that guy hands over that chicken to you and takes the $6, money has zero value. And when that guy gives you the chicken in exchange for the $6, then other people watching will say, oh, so a chicken is worth $6. That must mean a turkey is worth $20. Then somebody comes along and offers $20 for a turkey, and the guy hands over a turkey. And that's how the dollar has any value. If it weren't for the first guy with the chicken and the dollar, money wouldn't have any value whatsoever. And even then, even after the transaction is completed, the money still has no value. We are simply ascribing a value based on a trade. And that's the whole reason that the Federal Reserve is evil, because the Federal Reserve says, I don't care about your damn chicken. I don't care about your $6. I'm going to flood the market with money, or I'm going to take away money. I'm going to do whatever I can to completely disrupt whatever you thought money was worth, because I want to get more money than all of you. So I'm going to manipulate your economy that you built on Main Street. That's your crash course in money right there. The Federal Reserve is raping you, is killing you, is murdering your children, is enslaving the entire country, because they say, I don't care about your damn chicken and $6. I don't care. You know what? Your $6 is now worthless, because now I have put into the economy $3 trillion more out of thin air. That means that $6 that you just spent is worth 30 cents. So now chicken is worth a lot more. Oh, I need to get on my abacus. Anyway, so you understand, if they can just generate money out of thin air, right? That literally means that Janet Yellen can go buy millions of chickens. Actually, trillions in this case, right? Maybe she put $6 trillion into the gun. Now she can buy trillions of chickens for nothing, you know? She didn't have to work for that. The Federal Reserve didn't have to work for that. Why do you need to know money? You need to know money to understand what you are doing day to day. When you pay your electric bill, you have to understand what is going on. Your parents didn't teach you this. I guarantee your school didn't teach you. I bet you even people with economics degrees don't get this. You have to put two and two together to arrive at this conclusion. Money is all fiat. It's all imagination. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all fantasy. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to get you to understand money so much that it is a plaything in your hands. If you can buy a house at 3% with a loan, and you can put money into the bank and get 6%, which is the better deal? The better deal is the house, because then you can rent the house out, have the people pay off the loan for you. So literally you have a free house, and even generate a little bit more than the loan to cover your costs, and a little bit more to make a profit after the cost. Not a whole lot, because you want to sell to people, you want to rent to people, and people have to be able to afford it. So you're making only a little bit of profit off of one house. Now you then go multiply that by 100, 1,000, tens of thousands. Is that bad debt? No, that's not bad debt. That's fantastic, awesome debt. Bad debt is when you are taking out loans for houses at 13% and not doing anything with them. Even if you rented it out, you can't even recoup Just the interest rate alone, that's bad debt. And you're living in a house that you're in debt for, that just pure debt, unadulterated debt. And there you have it. I wanted to make it quick, but I can never do anything quick. Anyway, share this video to anybody who thinks, I know you know people who think they know all about it, right? Especially when you tell them, money is a fantasy. And they'll go, what? What are you talking about? There you go. Thank you for watching Chicama Live Show.